Episode 6, The Invisible One. There had been other occurrences and happenings during the rest of my school career. Of a similar vein but not of the same magnitude, I must hasten to add. I am not going to recount them simply because I did not recall it on that fateful night in the year 1992. Regarding the previous episode, one must concede that Allah on high had sent a signal message to me, but still I did not construe this to mean that I am the Mahdi, but now my appetite was whetted and I resolved to look for clues in my past to highlight what I had just recounted. I resumed my pacing of the room, asking why. Why did Allah on high choose me? Hisham and Alahuddin were the cousins nearest to my age from my father's brothers, children whom I grew up with. Hisham Adola, as he is properly called, is 3 years older than me, tall, very fair of complexion with summer sky blue eyes and light hair. It is easy to mistake him for somebody coming from one of the Benelux or Scandinavian countries. Mogamad Alahuddin is 2 years older than me. As Hisham is fair, he is dark, it is as if the two of them complemented one another. I would say I am a cross between them, but a bit nearer to the dark side. Don't talk about good looking, these two cousins of mine must have set many a fair maiden's heart aflutter, and I am sure they still do. Please do not get me wrong, I am not saying that I am nothing to look at, but if the two of them are safely tucked out of the way, I can easily hold on to my own. As a young man I used to love going for walks with Hisham. Whenever the opposite sex used to catch a sight of him, they used to perform all kinds of gyrations just to attract his attention, never mind if they were accompanied by their fathers, brothers, boyfriends, or whatever. From our side, although we did not do anything about it, we used to lap it up. But this is not the moral of my story. In comparison to Hisham and Alahuddin, the family hardly if ever noticed me. This applied especially to my father's brothers. Hisham and Alahuddin were the blue-eyed boys. My uncles, including their fathers and mine, were always discussing them. They would say, and this in the presence of us three, about Hisham. 1. Hisham is going to be the emir. 2. Hisham must get the learning so that he can represent the family because he is the fair one. 3. Hisham must become the Turkish ambassador to South Africa. 4. Hisham is very fair. 5. Hisham has got beautiful blue eyes. 6. Hisham has got beautiful light hair, and so forth. About Mogamad Alahuddin they said. 1. Alahuddin is very handsome, he is just as good looking as our father, my grandfather. 2. Alahuddin is very clever. 3. Alahuddin has got a good nature. 4. Alahuddin must get married to my sister Tahira, who looks just like their mother, my grandmother. Then it would be their father and mother all over again, and so forth. Sometimes they would make comparisons between Hisham and Alahuddin, and it would always be Hisham that got the short end of the stick. I must say it is only Hisham who can forgive them for this, and who can beg Allah Almighty for their forgiveness, they would say. 1. Alahuddin is more good looking than Hisham. 2. Alahuddin is more clever than Hisham. 3. Alahuddin has got a better nature than Hisham. 4. Hisham is jealous of Alahuddin, and so forth. They never said these things in front of Hisham's father, not from what I can recall. Hisham would be very hurt by these snide comments. Most of the time he did not know how to handle the situation, and when we were alone, that is to say the three of us, he would vent his anger and frustrations out on Alahuddin. Then there was the question of pedigree. Who were the best born of the three of us? From our father's side we all come from the same line, so there was no discussion about this. But what about our mothers? Who were they? Which one of us three are the most noble born? I dare say the main culprit in this talks were Hisham's father, my uncle Mogamad Rashid. He would always make it clear to Alahuddin and myself that Hisham is better placed than us because his mother is of better birth. I would always be placed a poorer third. In spite of all these remarks, comments, and observations by my father's brothers, some of them lauding the qualities of their own sons, my father never praised me in front of his brothers. Was it because he was bashful? Or was it because he felt deeply disappointed because I was skinny, did not excel at school, and on top of this I stumbled over my words and could scarcely express myself? So what is the point of all this? Why did I bring it up? Is it to put my family in a bad light? No. Nothing of the sort. If I want, there are many laudable things I can say about them. Praise be to Allah, for He is exalted in might, wise. There is another dimension to this end. I only discovered it while I was pacing in the room. While all the center of attention were focused on Hisham and Alahuddin, and I was treated as if I did not exist, and although sometimes I felt slighted and hurt, I never ever once harbored any bad thoughts of resentment or jealousy towards my favored cousins. I must say there were times when I used to look inwards and examine myself to find out if there is anything praiseworthy I can discover about myself and offer to my father, but always I came up with a blank and felt very bad about it. On looking back, I discovered there was something in which I excelled, the reciting of Allah's holy book, the Holy Quran, and other matters pertaining to the religion. Even before I went to school, I was familiar with the letter of the Holy Quran. Many were the times I went with my father to the houses of his friends and acquaintances, and he called upon me to recite from the holy book. He must have been very proud of me, I just did not realize it. What about all the other honors which was bestowed upon me? From a young age right throughout my childhood, adolescence, and the years beyond, I was called upon to do the honors at the bedside of the frail, the sickly, and the dying. Praise be to Allah, their relatives, if not themselves, would always make a good wish for me. What about the years I used to recite for my grandmother Kulsum, the mother of my father and my uncles? She, bless her, used to be so proud of me and used to give me money and sweets after these recitals and make a good wish for me. Not to mention father and uncles themselves, because I also did the honors at their bedsides when their turn came for their light to depart. Yes, I have much to feel good about and thank Allah on high, for looking back I realized it was not meant for me to be in the eyes of the glaring spotlight, and this says it all. Immediately I shared all this with Charliza. She was ecstatic, we both cried out together another sign, and jumped for joy.